till recently, the big story used to be confrontation between judiciary and executive, and now it seems to be collusion between judiciary and executive. So,
Well, how do I react to that? Well, completely wrong. We wouldn't have decided electoral bonds the way we decided it, or we wouldn't have decided yesterday the judgment in Aligarh Muslim University that we decided, or the way we decided the Madrasa case 2 days back as we did, if there was collusion between the judiciary and the executive. So on the judicial side, we are absolutely independent of the executive. But I have a different take insofar as the administrative work of the judiciary is concerned, which is that, in the administrative side, we are funded by the state. We're not funded by a political party. We are funded by the union. And we need funds for the judiciary from the states when we are High Court Chief Justices or judges or from the Union of India. So I got 7,000 crores from the Government of India for the e-courts project. And that was preceded by a bipartisan evaluation by the Parliamentary Committee on the Department of Justice. So members of Parliament across political lines came to the court. For the first time, a judge of the Supreme Court spoke to the parliamentary delegation. They didn't make me go to Parliament. They came to the Supreme Court. And they gave a very strong report to the government to fund every bit of what we wanted, which was 7,000 crores. And we got that. And that's why we are on the cusp of a digital revolution in the Indian judiciary. Budgeting, you have to talk to the government. You have to be in collaboration with the government. When I was Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court, I got the entire structure for the Lucknow building completed. It's probably the best building in the country. Who would fund me if I didn't talk to the Chief Minister? They constructed the building, but they forgot to put in a parking lot. So I went to Akhilesh and said, CM साहब यहाँ parking lot अपने नहीं बनवाया है for this. So साहब बम्बई से आए हैं ना, तो ऐसे जो जाता है बम्बई में वैसा बनवा लीजिए. ऐसे पैसा कौन देगा? इसे टुकिए. Picked up the phone, called up the finance secretary, said, Chief साहब को parking lot बनवाना है, पैसा release कर लीजिए. I said this just the other day in the High Courts. There's a very established tradition that the Chief Justice on assuming, at least in some states I have been to, that the Chief Justice on assuming office will go to the Chief Minister's residence for the first time. You talk about the pending issues of the judiciary. There are 20 projects which are underway. Funds have been short for these projects. The Chief Minister will discuss with you, will call the Finance Secretary. The next time, the Chief Minister comes to the Chief Justice's residence. In UP, this was our tradition. The first time I would go to Akhilesh's house. Second time, he came to my house. And there were times when we would meet socially. But I was I had the fiercest of battles with the Samajwadi government when I was the Chief Justice. And on things like the appointment of the Lokayukta, so many different things. But that didn't prevent us from, maintaining the elementary courtesies in behavior with each other. So that didn't mean that, he's expected me to collude with him on the judicial front. But these are projects for the citizens. I mean, it's not a project for the government or the project for for us as judges personally. So on the administrative front, there has to be a sense of dialogue between the judiciary and the government. On judicial appointments, for instance, both are stakeholders in the process. I can't postulate that, well, as Chief Justice of India, I'm the only person who's responsible for judicial appointments. You have an elected government which is answerable to the people. And I don't make an assumption of bad faith on the part of the government in everything that we do. They are equally part of the process of governing the nation. And therefore, I feel that there has to be a robust conversation. Sometimes governments have objections to a name we propose. We have objections to a name which they may be pushing through. And it's sometimes good to share these objections and to be candid. I've always been candid with the government on why you're not clearing this name. And you find that after a good dialogue, a lot of things get resolved. Not everything gets resolved. Some issues are not resolvable. I mean, you know that it's not going to get resolved. But we'll still keep on pushing it. So, in that sense, there is no collusion. Why would all these people these very sensitive political cases, in the recent past, political leaders who've been incarcerated, they've been granted bail. Why would they? Yeah, Saurabh Kripal's case is obviously one of those cases where we have constantly pushed it. I put it out on the website on what was the objection of the government to his appointment, namely that he has a same-sex partner who is an Austrian. To which I put out on the public rep on the website of the Supreme Court that the fact that you have a partner of a foreign origin should not make a difference, because a lot of constitutional functionaries have had and do have partners who are, spouses who are foreigners, including the highest office in the country. Narayan had a Burmese wife. I have not mentioned names, but I just flagged that. And second, that is, sexual orientation should not matter at all. How am I concerned about somebody's sexuality? That's a private affair, unless it's affecting that person's work. That's my perspective. Maybe government has a different perspective, but we can still keep on pushing. I'm not going to relent, even if they don't relent. So that kind of a thing. But collusion, I think, is not a correct assessment.